Caterina Astarita. I am a research fellow at CEPS and I coordinated the iSkill project that is in its concluding phase. iSkill is a project investigating how industrial relations and social dialogue may contribute to the advancement of adult learning with a focus on upskilling and reskilling in the EU. In our project, we have used a methodology that combines both qualitative and quantitative research approaches. In this video, I would like to sum up the key messages and recommendations of the project with a particular focus on the national case studies. Both the European Union and the Member States are prioritizing initiatives that promote adult learning. The setting in which these policies are contextualized is complex, and multiple forces are at work. These forces include the twin transition and other fast-changing circumstances, as the aging population, climate change, and globalization. The main challenges that have been generally recognized are as follows: labor, knowledge and skills shortages, and mismatches. Ensuring the availability of a skilled workforce is crucial for the future competitiveness of European industry. This is true for all the parts of the value chain, for companies of every size and every level within a company. Adult learning and continuing training, including upskilling and reskilling, has a relevance per se, but in the general context I was referring to before, one of the biggest challenges lies in finding strategies that can address a very large amount of individuals and skills. Adult learning, upskilling and reskilling need to be inclusive. It is important to limit the negative externalities the twin transition may have on the categories of workers who are more exposed to the risk of being further marginalized or even excluded from employment. Social partners, trade unions, and employers' organizations are called to further strengthen their efforts along with other relevant stakeholders, depending on the specific reality of an individual member state. Research and empirical evidence indicate that there is an unequal distribution of workers when it comes to participate in adult learning. The literature tends to agree with the conclusion that vulnerable groups that need training the most are participating the less. Among these groups, there are, for example, individuals with a lower level of education or qualification. Similar conclusions are reached also in the quantitative exercise we performed in the iSkill project. However, among the results we reached, it was found that the presence of social dialogue and industrial relations has a positive effect on participation, and therefore it can be inferred that it is necessary to increase their participation, especially in the context of adult learning system. 5 country national reports were prepared for the iSkill project. Belgium, with a focus on Flanders, Bulgaria, Denmark, Italy, and Slovakia. Each of the selected member states focused also on a productive sector: automotive for 4 out of 5 member states and plastic for Denmark. While the member states under scrutiny present a certain degree of heterogeneity, there are also many points in common on which I would like to focus on. The key messages and recommendations I am going to describe are the result of an analysis of degree literature, but most importantly of semi-structured interviews and roundtables the iSkill partners conducted with the social partners and other relevant stakeholders. There is consensus about the key relevance of adult learning, not only for its contribution to economic competitiveness, innovation and employability, but also as a buffer against social risk and as a tool for personal development and fulfillment. As already underlined, the labor market is under significant pressure, which leads to labor knowledge and skill mismatches. To face this latter, continuing training, upskilling and reskilling are key. Furthermore, in the context of mismatching, working conditions are also very relevant. It can be the case indeed that mismatches hide recruitment bottlenecks. There are strong barriers that regard both employees and employers. The barriers identified for individuals are in general classified into situational, dispositional, and institutional. Furthermore, at the workplace, the role of organization and their decisions may interact with the barriers referred to individuals. The barriers identified for employers include costs and market failures. They affect SMEs in particular. In both cases, the presence of obstacles leads to a suboptimal rate of participation in adult learning opportunities. There is a vast network of actors involved in adult learning systems. They already put in place or are in the process of putting in place a wide range of plans, initiatives and measures to promote adult learning. However, it seems that the efforts are not yet sufficient and that the adult learning system still has many deficits. Further specific challenges have been identified for specific member states. I can give you some examples. A low propensity of workers and companies to consider adult learning as an investment, difficulties for companies, especially SMEs, in accessing information, limited availability of fundings for managing and implementing courses, dealing with complex bureaucracy, flaws in the system of monitoring and anticipating market skills and training needs, limits in supporting the validation of on-the-job skills learned. The role of social partner in adult learning is paramount, with the expectation that their participation will progressively intensify. With the due difference among member states, the role of the social partners includes guaranteeing the right to training, enhancing access to adult learning and evaluating its quality, and motivating employees to engage in training. Furthermore, they have an active role in promoting adult learning by influencing policy, sharing knowledge about effective strategies, and fostering a supportive atmosphere that acknowledges its significance. The analysis of the various case studies led to the identification of 15 recommendations based on some common conclusions the partners of iSkill project underlined in their national reports. Foster a culture of adult learning. This means providing personalized, flexible and accessible learning opportunities for all adults, but it is based also on informed and convincing both employers and employees about the value of adult learning and its immediate and long-term benefits. Take into account the relationship between adult learning policies and other policy areas. The actual adult learning policies and their future improvement may be interconnected with the development of other policies, for example, social policies, active labor market policies, or industrial policies. Prioritize the equality and inclusiveness aspect of adult learning policies. It is imperative to move quickly to support the employee groups that are more heavily burdened by all barriers that prevent them from engaging in adult learning. This is necessary to avoid the increase of income inequality and the further polarization of skills. Value the work-life balance, mental health and well-being of employees. streamline the administrative processes and ease the bureaucratic burden, reduce various sources of fragmentation both at institutional and geographical level, develop a policy of career guidance during school years, including a valuable presentation of sectors and occupations requiring technical skills, enhance the support for the development of transversal skills. The adult learning system, indeed, should improve the support for developing soft skills like social and critical thinking, both in formal and non-formal education and training programs. Boost training quality through training quality assessment. Indeed, while the objective of achieving a specific training participation rate is important, it is also important that we focus on some shortcomings. Shortcomings of this objective, indeed, is its exclusive focus on the quantity of training, without providing any indication of the extent to which workers experience improvements as a result of the training. Enhancing the quality of adequate education is crucial, and the evaluation of adult learning is an important tool in this regard. Promote and further develop the validation process of skills and knowledge acquired through non-formal and informal learning and practice. Although non-formal and informal learning are important forms of learning, in the work context, employees' competence are often more likely to be weighted against the formal qualifications possessed. The knowledge and skills acquired through non-formal or informal training prove more difficult to validate, but it is particularly relevant for blue-collar workers. Keep up with the new training techniques, including digital tools, while keeping them inclusive. It is important to introduce modern training techniques and personalized approach, especially for low-skilled and less educated social groups. The impact of digitalization can be observed in the emergence of tools designed to enhance adult learning in various member states. Nevertheless, as the instruments being discussed are digital, it is important to focus as well on the issues of digital literacy. Assess the skill requirements associated with the context, the market, the company and the employees. The mapping, anticipation and sharing of the skill requirements and needs, both for companies and for the employees, is a prerequisite to efficiently contribute to developing path of continuing education. Support SMEs. SMEs should be assisted, for example, in identifying relevant courses, in applying for subsidies and systematically planning their education and training activities. Further improve the activity of social partners and collective bargaining in the adult learning system, depending on the peculiarities of the individual member states. While social partners are qualified to participate in the implementation of most of the above-mentioned recommendations, there is additional room for them to intervene depending on the specific reality of the member state. Foster the collaboration between all the stakeholders involved, creating and consolidating the relationship between various stakeholders involved in the adult learning system can be beneficial in several respects, as it exploits different points of view and expertise. Nevertheless, the coordination of many actors is complex, and the identification of strategies to smoothly and efficiently manage this relationship should be promptly identified. In inviting you to read the available papers of the iSkill project for a deeper understanding of the key messages and recommendations I referred to in this video, I thank you for your attention.